Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. At one of these times, Doc, we'd probably need to have a gun program, because there's just what we're about to get into in the next 10 minutes or so. It's not going to do the topic justice, I don't think. In his response to the San Bernardino attack, President Obama, while laying out a 4-point plan or reconfirming the 4-point plan of how they're dealing with ISIS over in the Middle East, set out a couple of different things for it's a plan to help prevent these kinds of attacks, or at least to try. And one of them, he said, is he wanted to make it more difficult for people to buy assault-style weapons. And of course, that wound everybody on the right up, because every time someone on the right, what I find so fascinating about the response to that, when there's an attack on, I lost my train of thought, but you go ahead and talk for a second.
Here's the thing. California already has a ban on 2 of the weapons that were used, number 1. Number 2,
they were bought legally in the state.
Well, but there's a ban. There's a ban on high-capacity magazines, and they use them. There's a ban on how many bullets you can buy and own, and they violated that. The 2 pistols were bought legally. The FBI continues to investigate whether or not the assault rifles were bought legally or not and brought into the state, because apparently, according to the California law I was reading, you're not even allowed to have an assault-style rifle. You're not allowed to have that. Now, you can have a hunting rifle that shoots the same round, which is idiocy, but the assault-style rifle you're not allowed to have. So they're already in violation. My second point about this, they left bombs behind, and from what the FBI has reported, they had a bomb-making factory. And I haven't heard whether they shipped those bombs out or if they got the material and just made a ton or what it was, but it's obvious that they were interested in making a lot of bombs. And the third thing that they're looking at, and this is from a little birdie, so keep that in mind. One of the things that they're looking at is the coding and the words used in order for this guy to go find a mate in Pakistan. Because apparently there are certain phraseologies that they use to let you know that they're sympathizers with the war on the great Satan, which would be us. I don't know if that's entirely true or not, but that's what was told to me. And the truth of the matter is banning assault-style weapons does not take the assault-style weapon out of the hands of the criminals. What it does is it lessens anybody's ability to respond to that kind of situation. Nobody there was armed, right? And it's just a shooting gallery. And I know Lefty's already over here sighing.
Because this conversation, this argument makes me exhausted. It makes me absolutely exhausted. When you're wrong, it makes you tired. When I have to do all the heavy mental lifting, that's what makes me tired, buddy. When you have a terrorist attack across the ocean, when you have a terrorist attack in New York City on September 11th, 2001, we took measures that severely restricted all kinds of civil liberties protected in the Fourth Amendment, in the Fifth Amendment, and the Sixth Amendment. But the minute anybody suggests, and conservatives were fine with that. They were absolutely fine. They said, we got to keep the country safe. We got to keep us safe, so we have to be able to go after people that are trying to do us harm. We have to be able to go in without search warrants, have secret courts, have rubber stamp things. We have to be able to do all that stuff. We have to collect metadata. We have to do all those kinds of violations of the Constitution. But the minute someone suggests, maybe if we made it harder to keep the tools out of their hands. Oh, man, no, that's the Second Amendment. We can't touch that amendment because that's the one amendment that we care about. So you either are a fan of the Constitution or you're not. And that's my point.
Now, here's the part that's really going to irritate me. I agree with Lefty. I agree with Lefty in the fact that why are we tolerating anybody taking away our rights? The problem is, at least from my perspective, I know I said, at least I support the Patriot Act a little bit. We had a show on that. That's been one of my biggest regrets. If I would have known what President Obama had done with the powers given to him through the Patriot Act, I would have said no way. That's part of the problem with giving away your rights. You get this. And the thing is, here we are talking about taking away weapons from Americans, while at the same time we're dropping $1 billion worth of weapons into Syria. Why? That's complete ludicrous. And that is insanity.
And voting in the House to allow people on no-fly lists to buy guns legally in this country.
Well, but hold on. Let's listen to this argument. They're on a no-fly list. Have they been convicted of a crime? That's the thing. They're on a no-fly list. Have they been convicted of a crime? So you're talking about, if they haven't, you're talking about eliminating a right that you have for a crime that you haven't committed. You, as a lawyer, should know.
You know who else aren't allowed to buy guns who haven't committed crimes? People under mental health commitments. There's ways to do it. Here's the bottom line on this. I think the U.S. Congress already has the authority to enact sweeping and you know what Republicans, anti-gun control folks, everybody out there that clings to their God and their guns and whatever, please call the show. Please tweet me on that, because I really want to hear your angry invective on this one. The Congress already has the authority to do this if they had the political will and the leadership to get it done, because your right to possess a gun does not trump my right to not feel like owning one, does not trump my right to be safe and to feel safe and secure in my own life. Because you owning a gun, you being around me with a gun, anybody, I don't care if it's a law-abiding citizen or a criminal, guns make situations more dangerous. I don't care if it's a good guy with a gun or a bad guy with a gun, because when the bullets start flying, they kill the good and the bad alike. My right to live a life free of the fear of guns is not trumped by your right to have one on the Second Amendment. The Congress already has it. They should pass that law. It should be taken to the Supreme Court and get rid of this unbelievable departure from precedent that D.C. v. Heller set up in this country. So please come to the show, come at the show and yell at me over this.
Oh yeah, please call them.
I would love it.
I'm going to tell you, your right to feel like you're safe doesn't trump my right to actually be safe. That's the difference. That's what I just said. I have a right to carry my gun. I have a right to defend myself. I have a right to make sure that if somebody is invading my home, be it the bad guy or the government, to defend my home. You would agree that we have a search, the system set up for reasonable search and seizure and the rest of it through the Constitution.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is, I have the right to be safe. You have the right to feel however you want to feel, but your right to just because you want to feel something does not trump my right to have a weapon. It just doesn't.
My right to choose not to have guns around me. I have that right. I have that absolute right.
And you can move to California where they ban them. Move to states where they ban them.
I love it. If you don't like it, get out. That's the perfect non-answer to any kind of argument.
No,
that's the perfect do nothing response that I've come to expect from all of you gun nut Republicans. It's the perfect do nothing response. I love it.
You know what? You know the do nothing response is to say, well, all right, I will let you have my guns. I will let you have everything because I want you to feel safe as you're being gunned down at work.
Oh, because it's my fault. Because that's right. Please blame the victim some more, Doc. Please blame the victim some more.
That's the problem. When you don't have a weapon, you become a victim. When you don't have a gun, you become a victim.
Blame the victim again. Let me wear my slutty clothes and walk around and blame the victim for getting killed.
There's no way that's blaming the victim.
Absolutely,
you can be at your gun-free zone all day long, and when somebody comes in and shoots you, and you can't return fire, if that's the way you want to die, that's the way you want to die. Me, I want to be returning fire, defending myself. Now we're up to the break. We're going to be back right after this. We're going to talk climate change because it's hot in here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Be back right after this.